What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Whiskey Shelf. And in this video, I want to take you window shopping with me on Amazon in Japan for Wild Turkey whiskey, rye, bourbon, whatever else we find. So let's get to it. A couple of things I want to mention first before we really get into this. One, you can buy whiskey or alcohol in general online on Amazon in Japan, or really any store, Rakuten, Yahoo, liquor stores. They will, most of them will ship alcohol to your door if you live in Japan. I happen to have a Japanese address, so I've been able to use this a couple of times. Second, Amazon Prime is in Japan is about $50, making it far cheaper than it is in the US. So if you're going to be in Japan for more than a couple days, if you're going to be here for a couple months, I definitely highly recommend that you get it. It's just really convenient. Taste of America, and definitely can help make your life a little bit easier when it comes to buying whiskey. But let's get back to what we're finding on this list. So, first off, we're finding Wild Turkey Rare Breed for 7,000 yen, about $64. Not really a great price. I'm going to click it anyways to see what we find when we go through that. Scrolling down, Russell's Reserve 6-year rye for $55. This is the 45% ABV version, not that interesting. Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit, probably a direct import from the US for about $100. Again, that's kind of high, but at least you get the box, which is kind of cool, but a bit too rich for me. Scrolling down even more, now we're getting to some of the interesting stuff. This is just regular Wild Turkey bourbon. This is I think it's the 43% ABV version for about $19. Not a bad price, and a probably comparable-ish in price to what you get in America. The really cool thing is you can get it prime free delivered in 2 days. So I shot this video Monday night and get it Wednesday morning, scheduled 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and no extra costs. Again, making Amazon Prime very much worth it if you don't have time to go and look for it yourself. In this case, Wild Turkey is everywhere. This is not the thing you necessarily need to order, but a lot of this will carry over to other things you might be able to buy. The next really interesting thing right here, I'm going to click this first, and then I'll talk about it. Here we have Wild Turkey 13-year Distiller's Reserve. So this is 13-year-old Wild Turkey. This is a Japan-only release, 45.5% ABV. And this is only, let's say about, give or take $60, which I think is a very good price for this extra age Wild Turkey. I know America right now has Russell's Reserve 13-year barrel proof, which I think is $69.99 MSRP, but at this rate, it's all gone, or at this point, it's being really marked up. So at least in Japan, this is super easy to find. $60 a bottle seems like a pretty reasonable price for something that's extremely available, but that just gives you a cool option, very much like in the US, there are photos. So, kind of a cool find here. Definitely makes your life easier if you're too busy to go out and get this yourself. But again, you can find this at pretty much any liquor store that sells bourbon has this on the shelf. The price may vary. I think this price is actually on the lower end. This is a better price, so, definitely could be something considering buying when you are in Japan and want to go shop around on Amazon. But let's keep looking down. They're frequently bought together. You have a couple options here for who you want to buy it from. Now, let's see. Okay, we got Wild Turkey Rare Breed here for 5,390 yen. That's about $49. Not the best price. But what is really interesting, so here we have Wild Turkey Master's Keep 17-year bottled in bond. I'm going to click that, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, and then I'm going to just see what else loads in the side scrolly bar, if it ever does load. All right. Oh, here we go. Here's another fun one. The Wild Turkey Master's Keep Revival. We'll click this one more time. All right, we got I.W. Harper, Blanton's. I'm not sure if this is Blanton's Red or regular. This is probably Blanton's Red for about $70. I'm not going to click that now because I want to focus on Wild Turkey, but another cool thing to note. Oh, here is the Wild Turkey ad for Amazon. Creative director Matthew McConaughey. Him being very moody in the countryside of Texas, probably. Some information that I don't really know. Something about the world. You know, my Japanese is not that good yet, so can't really read that well. Making cocktails. A little timeline here. In terms of... I'm not really sure what this is, but maybe one of you may know better than I do, so leave a comment below if you can read this better than I can. The usual Amazon stuff. Information. Product description in Japanese. I don't understand it. Products related to this. So why don't we let's go to the next thing that we saw. All right, first off, Wild Turkey Master's Keep 17-year bottled in bond. Guess what? You can buy this in Japan for 16,740 yen, about $152, which is, I mean, by American standards, is a great price. I think these are pretty much all sold out in America at this point, but it's really funny that Japan they keep getting these in stock. So whatever is happening, maybe Wild Turkey has stopped selling this in America, but they're still shipping them to Japan. You know, not kind of a bummer for Americans. Pretty cool for Japan. Now, if you're wondering, should I be concerned about fakes? I mean, of course, that's always possible. You know, look at the seller. Do you trust the seller? In this case, shipped and sold by Amazon itself, I'll trust it. So this is a pretty cool thing. I actually haven't had this one yet, but you know, we look at the bottle. Looks like it comes with a box. It's a beautiful box, beautiful packaging. Other than that, you know, the price is pretty good. I can get it Wednesday morning, again, which is really convenient if I wanted to order it. Again, with Prime, it's free. A, it's free scheduled delivery, and B, it is scheduled, so if you're not necessarily there to get it, you can schedule a time that you're more likely to be there, so you can get that package. So that is really cool. Keep scrolling down. I don't have a child. You have a couple options for who you want it delivered by. Oh, there's the Booker's. I'm going to keep going. Cornerstone Rye here for $152. I will say the really funny thing about Japan is that it's not so hard to find, or it's not easy, but it's not hard to find these Master Keeps releases. So the 17-year bottled in bond, the Revival, which I'm just going to go to the next tab, the Cornerstone Rye, as well as the previous version of the 17-year, which was 43% ABV, you know, traveled over 100 miles and was cash strength of 43-ish%. You know, you can still find those on the shelves for $180, which may or may not be worth it for you, but you know, either way, you know, that's really how you want to use your money. Last one I want to look into is just, you know, again, Wild Turkey's Master's Keep Revival Oloroso Sherry Cask. I think this was released 2018, and you know, funny thing, you can still buy these in Japan online for about $152, which is a great price. I also haven't had this one yet. I have one waiting for me back in the US, so I'm definitely looking forward to opening it at some point. So I don't necessarily feel a urge to buy this, but you know what? If you happen to be, again, in Japan and you have Amazon Prime or not, this is still a really interesting and a viable option, because you know these are pretty hard to find in America at this point. I don't think they're so marked up, but the supply is gone. There's been a couple years at this point. Ironically, Japan is still getting them, which I think is great. Let's go look at that picture. It is a great picture. So there you go. Revival, Oloroso Sherry Cask. I think people have had varying opinions on this. I personally am a huge fan of sherry finished whiskey. Also, the fact that this is 12 years old, and let's see, I think this was 101 proof. I actually can't remember. Here you go, 101. So this is, you know, in a way the 12-year, Wild Turkey 12 101 that they used to get in Japan. I have a couple of them in my cabinet as we speak, but you know, and you get the extra finish, and for $150, not a bad deal, at least by Japanese standards, considering that 12-year was discontinued, like 2012, 2013. So kind of a cool little find. Just scrolling down, here, this is the one we just saw. This is another store selling it for $170 and not as good as that price, so I would just order that if I were going to. Wild Turkey 13 year, Wild Turkey 8 year. So Japan does seem to get quite a bit of the extra aged Wild Turkey, as well as more Masters Keeps, or at least they're more available. I wish we could get Russell's Reserve 13 year, but who knows when that'll come. Very similar thing here. And that's really it. I'm gonna do in a subsequent video, and I look at Blanton's, Four Roses, anything else that I feel like doing. But I think there's just a lot of because there is an online retail environment that can ship across the country. There's definitely more choice, but at the same time, some things may disappear, or you're not going to find certain allocated bottles like Michter's 10, rye or bourbon, Wild Turkey 12. Those things you're going to have to go to a store or order from the store directly to get that. And even if you can, they're going to be pretty hard to find. But Amazon does offer an option for you as if and when you do come to Japan for your for your trip, for your exploration, or to buy more whiskey. But with that said, Japan has a very different retail environment. Amazon is just one of many options to shop online. And when you come here, it's really figure how best you want to do it. I've used a little bit of Amazon. A lot of it now is just legwork and going out and finding them myself, talking to people to see what they have. But you'll figure out what works best for you. Amazon is just one option that you have, and I'm going to leave it at that. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell below as a notification. You can also go look at whiskey reviews, comparisons, articles at my blog, www.thewhiskeyshelf.com. That is also linked below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, which is linked below. And last but not least, please think about supporting me on Patreon. A lot of time never goes into all this content, buying whiskey, reviews, comparisons. So, any support you can provide, I definitely appreciate. If you don't, that's totally cool too. I also appreciate you just watching this video, watch multiple videos. That's a lot of support for me as well. If you do support me on Patreon, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's definitely amazing that you do. But either way, I'm just happy that you're watching this video. So anyways, thanks again for your time. I hope you found this video interesting, maybe a little bit informative, give you more insight into the Japanese whiskey market. But until next time, thanks for watching. See ya.